Today I'm going to be building a shop stool because I want somewhere to sit and I have nowhere to sit. So I'm going to be doing that, and I'm going to be using scrap wood, not this piece of scrap wood, but scrap wood throughout the shop. So it's not going to cost anything, and there's a couple things I want to do. One, I want it to be comfy. Two, I want it to be very easy to build. Three, all the joinery must be done with the Kreg Rebel because I'm doing this to try it out and actually put it to a real world test. So that's the plan. And I'm setting a timer for 45 minutes, and we're going to see how long it takes for me to do that. Starting now. I'm going to try to capture as much as I can, but it may not be perfect. I'm panicking. So we're going to measure from ground to height. And I'm thinking 27 inches, about 10 inches, and 13 inches. Those are going to be our pieces that we're going to cut. So 27 tall, 13 wide, and 10 deep. So we have a plan. We got to grab some wood.
All right, so I'm just collecting scraps from around the shop. Now, if you're not making this with scraps and you want to make this from just brand new material, I would say if you grab two 8-foot 2x2s, that would be more than enough material to do it, and one 1x4 that is 8 feet as long, and that'll be plenty to do the top as well. So the measurements are 27 by 13 by 16 at the very end, with all the materials put together, stool made. So right now I'm just taking my boards and I'm chopping them in half into more manageable sections, but I'm making sure I'm going to have enough material. So I'm kind of pre-measuring, and then I'm going through and I'm chopping a lot of stuff. Then right after that, I'm going to take it to the table saw, and using the board to set the width, I'm going to be making my own 2x2s essentially. And yeah, don't worry, I got my anti-anxiety push stick. Don't want any more comments about me not using a push stick. So don't worry, I got it. It's right there. And I'm even making sure the work surface is stable when I do this. And after I have all of my pieces ripped, I start measuring it. So I need 4 pieces that are 27 inches long. I need 4 pieces that are 10 inches long, and 4 pieces that are 13 inches long. So just using these pieces, kind of selecting ones that don't have a whole bunch of marks on it to increase the stability as best I can. I get all my markings down, get them all straight, and then we're going to go over to the chop saw or the miter saw, and we're going to start cutting it just straight 90-degree angles, nice and simple with fantastic camera angles. And because this is a race against time, I do my best to cut multiple boards at a time. I started with 2, I think, and then I did 3, and then I went crazy with 4 at one time, and it worked, well, just fine.
Okay, so now we're on to this guy here. And I said I wasn't going to use it in the review video, which has probably come out first, but we're going to try it. And that's this featherboard thing. Two 10-inch pieces. Just need 1 pocket hole, and 2 need 2. So we'll start with the ones.
I'm really getting used to using this, and I try to flip it around a couple more times and whatnot to see if I can get a really efficient system going, but I ended up sticking with the idea of just doing it the normal way because this just feels wrong, and honestly, it wasn't even easier to do it this way.
Looks identical. I don't really like it that way.
I was very skeptical about the dust collection on this, but it worked surprisingly well. And once I got a groove going with this, it went really well. I was really knocking these out quite quickly, and before I knew it, I was ready to start assembling.
Okay, we need just
Now, the assembly process is pretty easy. I didn't really have set measurements for this because there was no initial plan, but my spacer's cut to about 6 inches, and then I wanted to have the next set of braces to be slightly above that, so it'd be easier to drill. I would make yours higher than what I did. It was still kind of tight, but it did work out, and we just create 2 of these sections and put them together.
I know this is not looking promising. Don't worry. It's gonna work out. It'll work out.
And assembling this stool was extremely quick. Took no time at all. And it's surprisingly sturdy. I've stood on it at this point. I've sat on it. I've jumped off it. I haven't tried jumping onto it, but maybe in a future video.
Now you might be thinking, hey, you only have one. It's going to spin. This is the top. There'll be a seat on it. It will have nowhere to spin to.
So for the seat of my stool, I'm using 1x6s. You can use 1x4s, 1x6s. You could even use 2x material if you really wanted to. It doesn't really make any difference. I just chop them to be 16 inches long, and then I start to pocket hole them together after changing the settings on my Kreg Rebel.
All right, that's time.
And for the pocket holes, to make it simple, on 2 of the boards, I put 3 pocket holes just facing one direction because the middle board really doesn't need any pocket holes. You can just squish it all together into that board. And I do use the table saw after I'm done just to finish trimming it up as well. And I know I don't have a push stick for this. Oh, I did use a push stick, but my hands are far enough away. I thought it was safe. And now I pre-drill some holes into this, and I actually remake these holes because they weren't quite deep enough. So I used actually the pocket hole bit, and I drilled them too deep, and then I drilled them again, but I don't think I ever show that on camera, where I set the collar to get the depth actually correct. So just set the depth and do it correctly the first time. Don't do what I did.
Well, I find myself at a crossroads where I could call the stool completed, or we can actually complete the stool. So I've accomplished a couple goals. I used the Kreg Rebel, built it pretty fast, but not within the time limit, but it was still pretty fast. Was very easy to make. It's very easy to design. Comfy. It's okay. I could sit on it for probably 20, 30 minutes, but then it's going to get kind of uncomfortable. Continue on. Let's move into uncharted territory, the land of upholstery. But I'm going to use one of my money-saving tips. I'm going to recycle used furniture or used wrestling mats. Okay, so I have this mat. It's a little wonky. It's been used for glue a few times. Now, I don't have a pen that can actually make a mark out of it, so we're going to use a knife. Now, to me, it makes sense to go a little bit wider than the seat, as it will get pulled pretty tight. It's probably a better tool for this, but I think this works pretty well. And with any luck, we have a square. I know I shouldn't be cutting towards myself, but this... Okay. I wasn't sure that was actually going to cut. I'm just going to follow this through. Up to... Okay, so I'm just lining over the edge by a touch. I want it to like just clear the edge. Push down and yeah, perfect. So step comes up a bit. We may need to use a hammer to pull some of these in a bit further, but that's all right. Okay. And to this side. And I think if I take this way, fold it in nicely. Go like that. Cool. Let's throw one stable right here. Go. We'll do the exact same thing on this side. Now, if you are an upholstery guy out there, or girl, out of 3, how good out of staples? Oh no. Do I have more staples?
A few moments later.
Perfect. Yeah, it seems like it's working better. Let's try to get one more. Did it run out of battery? Okay. Let's think. Okay. Magic. I got battery again. Do the same thing again. This way. Try again. Try to pull this one. Okay, so as I was saying, if you're an upholstery person, rate me out of 3 how well you think I did. If you're not an upholstery person, you can also rate me if you want. But you have to rate me out of 10. So, thank you all for watching this stool build. It's nice to have a place to sit again, instead of there's a buckets at one point in time, a very short chair for a while. This is nice. This is genuinely nice to have a stool, and it's nice that it's soft. It's a soft stool. It's pretty good. I can get used to this.